We've got unauthorized swarms of large drones over sensitive U.S. government sites, an incredible crash landing in the South Texas city of Victoria, and looks like there will be a new head of the FAA. This and more news on Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and we're going to talk about what can be done about the spy drones, and we'll cover the incredible crash landing of the twin-engine airplane in Victoria, Texas. But first, breaking news out of Washington, D.C. today, December 12th. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA Administrator, Michael Whitaker, has unexpectedly announced his resignation effective January 20th, 2025, as President-elect Donald Trump prepares to take office. Whitaker, who has served less than a year of his 5-year term since his confirmation in October 2023, communicated his decision through an email to the FAA staff. His short tenure has had its share of scrutiny, the ongoing Boeing oversight issues that he inherited, as well as controversy over regulatory actions against Elon Musk's SpaceX. Before his current role, Whitaker served as the Deputy Administrator of the FAA during the Obama administration, where he was instrumental in the transition from radar-based to satellite-enabled air traffic control systems. His deep roots in aviation policy and management were seen as assets when he was nominated by President Joe Biden to lead the FAA. Whitaker's nomination last year came after the withdrawal of Phil Washington, if you remember, the previous nominee for the FAA administrator position in March of 2023. Washington, who was then the CEO of the Denver International Airport, faced significant opposition from Republican senators due to his lack of aviation experience, leading to his eventual withdrawal from the nomination process. Though it's been rumored to insiders that Whitaker's resignation might happen, it still caught everyone by a bit of surprise. Elon Musk has been very vocal about the over-regulatory bureaucracy of the FAA, likening it to playing a football game where the referees outnumber the players on the field. It'll be interesting to see who Trump nominates as Whitaker's replacement. All right, before we talk about the dramatic crash landing in Victoria, Texas, let's talk about the drones over New Jersey. Residents, local law enforcement, and state officials in New Jersey, along with federal agencies like the FBI, Homeland Security, and the FAA, have been involved in the sightings and investigation of mysterious drones across the state of New Jersey and some New York. Since mid-November 2024, numerous large drones, some described as being the size of cars, have been spotted flying over New Jersey, causing concern and speculation. And certainly some of the reported sightings include legitimate activity, people posting shots of a drone that they saw in the night sky, and it's clearly a plane. But other apparently legitimate reports have that drones have been observed both singular and in clusters, with some appearing as bright lights in the night sky, while others fly with their lights off, making them harder to detect. The drone sightings have been reported across at least 10 counties in New Jersey, notably along the Raritan River near military installations like the Picatinny Arsenal in Morris County, and over President-elect Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster, Somerset County, and around critical infrastructure including water reservoirs, rail stations, police departments. Sightings have also extended into neighboring states like New York and Pennsylvania. The initial sightings were reported around mid-November, like the 18th, 2024, with the frequency and number of sightings increasing in recent weeks, peaking with 49 reports on a single night in early December. The drones have been most active at night and sometimes remaining in the sky for hours. I turned to our drone expert, Jonathan Smith of Steel Shot Aerials, to paint a picture of our U.S. drone detection capabilities. Jonathan?
So my take on the New Jersey drone situation is that we really don't know what these drones are, who's operating them, what their origin is. I tend to believe with the military bases up in the Northeast that they are of military origin, but that is pure speculation. I truly do not know. And I think this really touches on the issue and really highlights it on a grand scale, that our architecture and our infrastructure here for tracking drones in the United States is far behind what it should be. There are a number of companies who have worked on the integration and the deconfliction effort that have just not either had the funding or the support on the government level that they truly need to integrate into an airspace tracking system. Obviously, with ADS-B and air traffic control, we already have that set for manned aviation, but we currently don't have anything like that for the unmanned world, which is something that we need to get onto pretty quick here. And I think that this situation really highlights the lack of that we have here in the United States.
Thanks, Jonathan. The purpose of these drone flights remains largely unknown, sparking various theories and concerns from surveillance to espionage. Another theory is that these could be commercial drones testing new technologies or mapping systems, although their size and flight patterns seem unusual for such activities. But the drones are of a size that requires registration, and these are clearly operating outside the drone laws of the FAA, which makes it hard to believe that it's commercial drone testing. That doesn't make sense. As far as the U.S. military, here's what they're saying. The Pentagon has explicitly stated that there is no truth to claims suggesting the drones originated from a foreign entity or adversary. Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh specifically refuted claims by Congressman Jeff Van Drew yesterday that suggested the drones might be from an Iranian mothership off the U.S. East Coast. Lieutenant Colonel Craig Bonham II, the base commander at the Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey, clarified that the drones were not related to any activities at the arsenal, although they have confirmed sightings in their vicinity. The military installation has recorded 11 confirmed drone sightings since November 13th. These statements collectively indicate that the U.S. military does not attribute these drone activities to any of their operations or to any known foreign threat at this time. However, they acknowledge the ongoing nature of the investigation and the lack of definitive answers regarding the drone's origin or purpose. And this bothers me, and we'll get to that in just a minute, those statements. These drones have been observed using advanced capabilities such as flying in coordinated swarms, going dark to avoid detection, and possibly employing evasion techniques against traditional tracking methods like radar. It doesn't sound like commercial, it doesn't sound like that to me. Here are some theories being floated out in the news media. There's the Iranian mothership theory that's already been refuted by the Pentagon. However, this has fueled discussions about possible foreign state actors, including China or Iran, testing the U.S. airspace defenses or conducting surveillance. There is speculation about whether these could be rogue elements, tech companies, or even military contractors conducting unauthorized or secretive operations. Some local officials have called for stringent drone regulations to address potential misuse. A significant number of sightings might be misidentified commercial or private aircraft, like I mentioned before, with public anxiety and misinformation amplifying perceptions of a drone invasion. And with the sophistication and sizes of the drones, it's highly unlikely this is hobbyists gone wild. The FBI, along with state and local law enforcement, continue to investigate with public appeals for information on sightings. And public appeals for information is the key word. Governor Phil Murphy and other officials have emphasized there's no known threat to public safety, though they acknowledge the situation is frustrating due to the lack of answers. And here's my issue with this statement and the statement from the military and everybody else, and why I think more and more people just don't believe our government. How can you say there's no threat and that you don't know whose drones they are or what their mission is? By saying they're no threat, you're saying you've identified who and what and have determined that they're no threat. Instead of just saying they're not a threat, how about you just tell us what you found and how you came to that conclusion? It's the Chinese spy balloon all over. And I get that it's a tricky situation. You can't just take a shotgun or a fighter plane and start shooting things down. That would definitely be a risk for those on the ground. But clearly, we are behind the curve on drone blocking technology. It's clear with what's going on in Ukraine and other hotspots around the world that drone technology is like the new thing, a key for defense. And I think we'll find drones are the equivalent of the aircraft carrier in the pre-World War II days. The U.S. needs to up their game. And by the way, if this is Chinese or Russians testing our response, I'm no teacher, but it looks like a failing grade from here, and hopefully I'm wrong. Okay, let's turn now to Victoria, Texas, near Houston. Yesterday, December 11th, a Piper Navajo, that's a light twin engine piston plane, was on a survey mission when, according to the FAA, he ran out of fuel and crashed at the intersection of two busy roads and collided with several vehicles. The Texas Department of Safety has released the names of the people involved, with the pilot being 66-year-old Paul Ferroni and 4 motorists, including one that was a child. 4 have been treated and released from the hospital, and 1 was in critical condition and is now listed as stable, so we're thankful for that. Victoria police have said that the pilot was one of those treated and then released. No fatalities, which is incredible when you look at the after crash. And by the video, it looks like he almost made it before striking an object, spinning into several cars. Hard to really see there. But fortunately, there was no post-crash fire, which is another clue that there was no fuel. The Piper twin engine is registered to a survey company, Mark Incorporated. It's the largest North American provider of specialized contract aircraft for airborne geographic information systems, GIS, survey and surveillance projects. Their fleet consists of modified Navajos, the Navajo chieftains, and the Merlin turbine aircraft. The pilot, Ferroni, is shown to have a commercial pilot certificate, airplane single-engine land, and multi-engine land and instrument. He also has a couple of type ratings in small jets. His second-class medical is current, and with the FAA already announcing it was fuel exhaustion, there's not really much to speculate. But there is much to be thankful for that no one lost their life. Bent metal can be replaced. Also, there's always something to take away to make me a better pilot and a better person. And it's easy to point the finger on fuel exhaustion. I've never had that happen to me, but could it? You bet. This is a reminder for me to keep using my own personal minimums for fuel for a mission and to take the time, especially when I'm in a rush, which is pretty much every time, to properly fuel plan. The other thing that I could get myself into trouble is stretching fuel reserves to make it to an airport that has cheaper fuel. Save 10 cents here or there. But I need to know that paying a little extra at the pumps is a lot less expensive than a forced landing off airport. So that's it for a very busy news days, but one in which there wasn't a single fatality story, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I want to mention a couple of our sponsors real quick. With Christmas coming, check out the incredible mounts at 67 Designs. They're made here in the U.S. They're not just cheap foreign product that has labels slapped on them. Check them out at 67d.com. Also a shout out to Marshall Protective Services, mpsprotects.com, and another great gift idea, flyingeyesoptics.com. Use our code TAKINGOFF, all caps, one word, for 10% off. Also, a big help to our channel is when you watch another video from our list, like this in-depth report on Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist, Randy Rhoads. Check it out. Thanks for watching, and remember, superior judgment trumps superior skill. Take care.